we got the special guest, Austin, with me, and as always, JJ. We got a little bit of an emergency stream today, considering some of the circumstances. We were going to plan on going live today anyways, just to fill in some ball talk before the finals came around, and then Tibbs just got fired. So that was insane. And that, along with a bunch of other stuff that we want to talk about, we thought, why not? So, first reactions, fellas. What do we think?
You want to go first?
I mean, I think they made a mistake.
I think so, too.
Unless they're hiring someone like Mike Malone, I don't see the reason to fire him right now after they just took him to the conference finals.
I don't get it at all. Like,
I
why?
don't understand it either, because I feel like notoriously the Bucks did it with Budenholzer. Like, a lot of teams, once they sell off playoff runs, like with championship winning type coaches or coaches that make runs, I feel like this type of stuff happens where you see immediate regression. So I don't know. I think it's kind of a desperation type move for the Knicks. Like, getting to the Final Four isn't easy. Not every coach can do that. Only 4 of the 32 can get there. 4 of the 30, So I don't know. I don't like it. I'm a Tibbs guy, though. I've always been a fan of his.
I mean, we give Tibbs shit a lot, but like, we're aware that he's a decent enough coach. Right. He just took his team to the conference finals. If they lost in the first round of the Pistons, I would have understood it a little bit more. You probably got to move on eventually. But you still made it to the conference finals, and you didn't lose to some bums. Like, I think we're past the point of calling the Pacers a gimmick team and like, oh, they're not that good. They're actually really good. Rick Carlisle is a real good coach. Obviously, Halliburton is a pretty good engine of that offense. So to fire him for losing in 6, by the way, against that team where your 2-star players were basically in foul trouble every game, and you got like 10 points consistently out of like the Shamit, DeLon Wright, Achua group every game, I'm calling that a win. And we criticize him for not having adjustments, but then throughout the playoffs, he was making adjustments that surprised us and were good adjustments more often than not. So I don't get it at all.
I
Jack
agree.
and Coke, huh?
The only way I think they made this move is if they already kind of had something lined up on the back end. Like, are we going to see Mike Malone in 24 hours? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to see one of these? I feel like it's a crazy move to make this close. Like,
Are we confident that Mike Malone's better than Tibbs? Like, Mike Malone had more or less the same issues in Denver that led to him getting fired.
I don't even think it's more of like, is Mike Malone better? But it's like, what other options are they going to have that's available right now?
I think the issue is more roster than it was Tibbs.
These guys should not be fired. Some of these guys are getting premature fired.
I'm starting to think that all these coaches getting fired is a reaction to saying, hey, the Thunder are so far and away ahead of us for reasons other than coaching. We need to find some way to catch up. Like, if the playing field was level, I don't think any of these coaches get fired. But since there's such a big gap now and for the next 10 years with the Thunder, everybody's panicking.
I mean, with the reports that came out, the first thing the Knicks should have did was, all right, find cast replacement.
Yeah, and I will say
that's a bigger problem than anything.
You think Cat needs to be gone?
Did you see the reports on him?
Oh, I thought you were telling me that, because that was my next thing. I was about to be fired up, bro. All the Knicks fans trying to move Cat that quick, I think is crazy.
No, I'm saying they need to move him.
No, bro.
Yes.
I think that is so desperation, man. You just got him. Like, they were better with Brunson off in those games.
But he doesn't want to play defense. Like, it's not even that he doesn't want to play defense. He was playing whatever defensive coverage he wanted.
If Cat
that's a huge problem.
Stuff and wasn't a little zesty, people would not give him that same amount of hate, bro. He's a good player. He won him probably 2 of those games.
He's a good player.
I'm
not getting that wrong, but part of a championship team, if you're not, like, say you're supposed to be playing drop and he's just doing something completely different, that's fucking up the whole defense.
I get it.
Everybody has to readjust.
But
apparently he was doing that the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, he probably was. I get it. I just like to trade Randall and Dante and then now move Cat the next year. That just seems crazy to me. Like, that just seems like it's like trying to get something to stick rather than working and building something.
Yeah,
the
I
hard part with
think
Cat
what
is
was it?
like,
Game 1 or 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember, OG was they were trying to force a switch. OG was like, "Nah, I'm gonna stay right here," and then Cat was trying to stay on the switch, but it was like, "No, I got it." And then they just left Neesmith wide open. Do you remember that play?
Yeah, for that three,
yeah.
I do remember that actually. I
It's
just like
stuff like that.
you watched him when he would have the ball at the top and he was going downhill. There was not a single guy in the Pacers that could guard him. They were better when Brunson was off, and they just played that like they played Shamit running like off ball picks and let Cat just go straight downhill. I don't know. I
I
felt
think
like
the biggest thing you just can't have both of them on the court at the same time when
and
you
that's
really
an
need to play
issue in itself.
defense.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an issue in itself.
He's
I
a
think it's more
regular
of a
season
roster
player.
construction issue than a Cat issue.
Yeah, and also like you traded everything to get Bridges and Anunoby. Doc and I talked about this, JJ. Like, what wings did they have to come off the bench? Like, people bitch at Tibbs. Oh, he only plays 7 guys. Who are you playing off the bench? You know, like.
Yeah. And as soon as everybody complained that he's not rotating in players, then it's like, damn, he put these guys in. You're like, all right, that's why we kept them on the bench.
Yeah, it was like Shamit, DeLon, Miles McBride. It's like he tried to play those guys. None of them are long wings. Like,
Yeah. I think the problem I have with that is he should have did it in the regular season to try it out, experiment, not to the extent that Steve Kerr was trying to experiment,
right.
but at least figure out like, all right, maybe this can work. Then we have this ready as an emergency when we need to go.
I mean, maybe that's why he got fired, JJ, because like that makes a lot of sense in my eyes. Like, you should have tried that stuff out. You don't need to play all these guys major minutes. You're gonna make the playoffs anyways, you know?
Yeah.
So
The first time you try it, you're down 0-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a no-go.
I'd argue that do you think there's anything you could have experienced with that would have potentially been a solution for the way they lost?
He could have experimented before the trade deadline and see it's literally anybody, maybe a sign and trade, buyouts, something.
But with the new lineup with Cat, you're also trying to see what works best with the new roster anyways. Because it's not like Cat's just a plug and play guy. Like you got to use him right. And they were still trying to figure that out through the first half of the season.
Yeah,
I think Brunson got outplayed. Like, I think Halliburton led his team better than point guard Brunson was able to lead the Knicks personally. But
I mean, Halliburton has a much better constructed roster around him. With one of the greatest coaches in the last decade.
Dude, some of the shit Carlisle was doing was so sick. Like, did you see what was it, game 3, the foul where he intentionally to get Robinson to have to come out, and then they had to bring Cat back in with foul trouble, or they had to bring in Achua instead of Cat. Did you see that when Cat was on foul? What was that? What did he do? Do you remember what I'm talking about, Doc? I'm trying to remember how it actually went. I think it was like game 3.
I don't.
It was something small, but it was just like, damn, Carlisle's.
Was it in the last 2 minutes or was it something else? Because I remember something that the Celtics did in the last 2 minutes that I think Carlisle was smart enough to figure out as well.
What was
the last 2 minutes of the court? So that the whole hack-a-shack thing, you can't just foul a guy off ball in the last 2 minutes of a quarter.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like a technical foul or something like that. So what you have to do is bring Robinson into the pick and roll. That way he's technically in the action.
See, this was the third quarter or something. Might have been second quarter. I can't remember quarter. Robinson was killing them on the glass. Cat already had 4 fouls, could not return. They obviously were going to play him the whole fourth quarter. So he called a timeout, subbed someone in, fouled Robinson, and then forced Achua to come in. Obviously took him off the glass. It was just like small moves that Carlisle made that I really liked.
And that's the other thing. If your solution to having Cat as a defensive liability is a guy that teams can just hack at the end of a quarter, it's like, why we can't blame Tibbs, because the alternative is playing Precious Achua, who we talk about the roster or not experimenting with the roster. They did experiment with Achua in the regular season. It didn't work. It was very bad during the Achua minutes.
Do you think they missed Hartenstein?
Yeah, they definitely do. But they didn't have a choice.
But they didn't have a choice. Yeah, they couldn't afford him.
Couldn't afford him. But like that, theoretically, I feel like he maybe gets him over the edge. Honestly,
I just don't know that there's another coach that even the ones that are currently in the finals.
There's not many that could take this roster to where it got.
Yeah, and if you're looking for an upgrade, like, oh, Tibbs didn't do enough to get us to the finals, I don't think there's any coach in the NBA that would have. I think he maximized what this current iteration of the Knicks roster, I think he maximized it.
So do I.
They should have been gone in the first round.
100%.
There's 5 teams better than them in the East, you know?
They made it out of the first round because Tibbs was a better coach than Bickerstaff in that series.
Plus experience.
Yeah, and experience. Because the reality is the Pistons matched up pretty well against them. They played them pretty well. And outside of, obviously it's easy to say, outside of one run each game, they got screwed. But like their runs that they were giving up were disastrous. It wasn't like a 10-0 run that happens in the midst of a game. Like there was a 21-0 run. And then there was the one where Tim Hardaway missed at the end, the way that ending was handled. So that one, for me, that whole series was the Knicks lost it more than the Knicks won it. But then the Knicks beat the Celtics, which I think we can all say was an upset. Mm-hmm. Some of it was Boston shooting themselves in the foot, but Tibbs did have to do all the Mitchell Robinson adjustments that I don't think any of us expected. I think won them that series a decent bit. So I don't know how you can criticize him for winning the series that not a single soul expected them to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing you can expect next year is probably Josh Hart coming off the bench.
I think Hart, it's a bigger issue than Cat.
He lost.
Yeah, but I think the thing is you can't have 2 defensive liabilities in the playoffs.
Exactly.
You can have one, but you can't have 2.
Exactly.
And if you have someone that's not executing the defensive assignments that they're supposed to be doing, not even just, they're just a bad defender. You're just not even being a part of the game plan.
Yeah.
You're just doing whatever you want. That's my biggest problem.
Everybody else's defensive assignments.
Because now everybody has to adjust to what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, bro, like two defensive liabilities, a lack of a floor spacer, and a guy that's supposed to fix everything that you can just hack at the end of quarters. It's like that's a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. And you made it to Game 6 of an Eastern Conference Finals. I really don't understand it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Did it feel like Mikal did nothing in this series?
Yes, bro.
I know he was there, but I felt like he was like not there. Like, where was he?
Yeah, I know Mikal was a big part to the Boston series, which is why I can't say that the move was a bad move. But it doesn't match up well in this series. They paid way more than they should have for Bridges. Everybody knew it at the time, and he didn't do anything to disprove that theory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All the Celtics the Celtics series proved that he has a place on the team, and it was smart to add him to the roster. But in terms of worth, what they gave up, no, I don't think.
Yeah, like I don't think he played bad in the Pacers series either. Like he looked semi-efficient in most of these games, but it's like, I don't know, like you're supposed to be what, the 3rd best player on this team?
Yeah, it's not like you gave up a 6-man and a 1st-round pick. You gave up 5 1st-round picks. Exactly. And then you also had to ship off Randall and DiVincenzo to make his money worth
that entirely. Like that's the issue, Tip.
To be fair, DiVincenzo did nothing in the playoffs for the.
Yeah, but we know how he was when he was with his Villanova.
That's why I think that trade was a W. Randall and DiVincenzo did nothing. Randall did a little, but he kind of
Randall have helped a lot to get to where they were. I'll give him that credit, even though I'm a Randall hater.
Does Randall and Dante get this Knicks team without Cat over the hump either?
Probably no, Randall would have
not over
Randall,
the hump.
The fit with the Knicks, it would have never worked.
DiVincenzo obviously I think fits better with the Knicks. I think
he definitely does.
DiVincenzo would have limited all the issues Hart brought offensively.
I agree. They probably wouldn't have played him Hart as much.
Yeah.
If they kept DiVincenzo. And McBride probably would have lost a ton of minutes too.
Is there anything else to talk about as far as Tibbs goes?
What do you see this team doing next year?
Definitely at least the 2nd round, just because with the Tatum injury, and we don't know what's happening with Giannis.
The East is wide open.
Yeah, it's going to be wide open. Like the Cavs are the Cavs. I don't think there's going to be much change there.
First or second.
The Magic, maybe if they're healthy. The 76ers are another big, like nobody really knows what's going to happen there. And the Pacers and the Celtics. So I think those 6 are pretty locked in, but that 1 to 6, it's pretty interchangeable.
Yeah. Also, Bucks, if they keep Giannis and do something, I mean, you can't really write them off.
No, you can't write them off, but
I agree.
You can, but you can't get closer to writing them off with Doc Rivers as their head coach.
Yeah, that's the other issue. Because they're not going to have Dame.
Yeah.
Torn Achilles takes a while to recover from it. And when Dame
even if he gets back, he's never going to be the same, especially at his age.
Same issue with Celtics. It's just the Celtics also have Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, and they're going to get something back for Drew Holiday and or Kristaps. Like, they're not going to get fucking nothing.
At least with Jason Tatum, he's not a finesse player. He doesn't rely on his speed, and so I think he should be all right to get back to where he was.
He's also 26. Like,
yeah,
he's got
that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge difference than being 35 or 34 like Lillard.
Do we think the Pistons are in the conversation in the East next year, or is it still
100% yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
If they make a move this offseason, I think definitely
100%.
All right, let's go through and rank. Let's go through and rank the East right now.
As far as what the rosters are right now, right?
Yeah, if there's no surprise this offseason, which obviously there will be, but just for the sake of conversation, if the season were to start today with the roster that we currently have, what would the East look like starting or into the playoffs next season?
Health aside,
assuming everybody's healthy, knowing what we know about the health. So, like, we know Tatum and Lillard are dealing with the torn Achilles. They're not going to be out for a bit. They're not going to be in for a little while.
Cavs will be a 1-seed playoff team per usual. They'll do good in the regular season. I don't know if I trust their guys in the postseason, especially Mitchell and Garland. I've told you about that, but they're probably 1 seed for me.
Yep.
Honestly.
Agree there. So then
I think two for me is probably
Pacers, Pistons, Magic, Knicks.
Honestly, probably Detroit. That's where I'm high on
them. For me.
I'm buying high on them.
I think 2 through 5 is going to be really interchangeable.
Yeah. You think Cavs 1, JJ? You would say Cavs 1?
Yeah, I would say Cavs 1. Roster's good.
We're all in agreement Cavs 1.
It's just a perfect regular season roster. It's deep, good players. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. Not a ton of turnover.
It's easy to say this right now considering the position that they're in, but I think we have to give them the respect and put Pacers at 2.
I don't. I think they fall to like 5. I think Boston low-key is going to be better than them next year.
Even without Tatum and the Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis situation.
They're a weird regular season team.
Pacers,
they do well in the playoffs.
They started bad. They started 10-15, and then they were like consistently a top 5 team from that point on in the NBA.
How'd they start off last year?
Let's check.
Everyone's just giving up on the Celtics. I don't know.
Well, the last year is when they made the Siakam trade midseason, which is another reason I really like the Pacers. It takes time to figure that out. Like, the fact they made it to the conference finals with only half a season with a trade that big, I think that's another big plus for them. So the fact they had a whole nother season to figure it out and now they're in the finals, I think it says a lot.
I think the Pacers just need to do full court press like they have been in the playoffs. Do it the whole regular season.
Nesmith missed a lot of that first chunk as well. That was the other thing. The reason they
notice how we're not saying the whole time, the Pacers can't fucking guard anyone. The whole regular season, I feel like that was like the Pacers couldn't guard.
That's just their defensive structure. They're fine letting your best guy go for 40 as long as nobody else is going for 15.
And when they're scoring 130 points.
Yeah, like it's not like, oh, they can't guard Donovan Mitchell. It's like, no, they're letting Donovan Mitchell be Donovan Mitchell, but Garland, Mobley, Jared Allen, like, you guys aren't going to do anything. And they're fine.
Where can we rank the Celtics? They're going to ship off one of their players.
Yeah, but they're going to get something in return. Obviously, it's not going to be as expensive.
They're going to be a top 4 seed again. People do this every year. They're going to be right back in there.
Yeah.
Well, Jason,
they're going to be right there, but their ceiling is going to be different. That's the thing.
Yeah, but they're built to be decent in the regular season. Like, they just
I think they're probably going to settle around 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think they're 3 or 4 for me.
Like, they're going to be banking a lot on, like, Sam Hauser 30 minutes. And, like, Al Horford's getting up there, and he's going to have to play 25. Luke Cornett. I really like Luke Cornett getting more minutes, though.
Pritchard's still getting better. I don't know.
The roster is still very good.
Yeah, like, they still have.
We can all agree on that.
It's just we also can't ignore, like, they don't look nearly as good with Tatum off the floor. I know, like, in a vacuum, Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard and those guys are good. When Jason Tatum's
off, when they get the defensive attention that they're gonna get without Tatum on the court, is definitely gonna change the dynamics for a whole season.
Exactly. So I'd put Pacers 2. I know, Austin, you said Detroit 2. JJ, who are you thinking is the second seed?
It would have to be interchangeable between those two teams.
Hey, you got to pick one. We're not letting you off the hook. You got to pick one.
I'm going to say Pistons.
Pistons? All right, I'm on an island then. So then I think 3, I'll say Pistons. Do you guys want to say Pacers, or do you guys have another one you like at 3?
I would say Pacers and then Celtics.
Austin?
Yeah, Pacers, Celtics, Pacers, 3-4. I'll go Pacers. I'll give them the respect since they're in that shit. But that's probably my 3-4 right there.
I think this is going to be my take for this, I guess, segment. I think I'm taking a healthy Magic team over a Tatumless Celtics. No. Because I do, again, I know we said assuming things are as it stands, but I do think the Magic makes some sort of move this offseason. And
we all thought they was going to make a move at the deadline too.
Yeah.
Doc, that gets to my next take. Anthony Simons is going to be on Orlando this offseason. He will be there. I don't know what the package is, but Anthony Simons is from Orlando. They need a guard so damn bad that can score. So damn bad. Corey Joseph.
I like the fit.
Corey Joseph was playing playoff minutes. Corey Joseph. They need Simons so badly. I don't know what the package would be, but I actually agree. I could see them making some noise.
I think I agree.
Damn, Austin, you've been trying to get rid of Simons for a while now.
They have so many guards. I mean,
it is what it is. I buy into Shane Sharp more. I think Scoot Henderson, the front office, buys in more. I just think Simons has value for a team. Like, I see a bunch of shitty teams playing good, like guards that have no business playing that Simons would help. You know,
it's almost like they need another expansion team.
Honestly, yeah, honestly.
No, I'm completely with you on Simons to the Magic. I think the question is, from that point, how much does that boost the Magic? Like, I'm talking about them as a 4 seed. Are you putting them higher, assuming if they get Simons?
My biggest hot take, bro, I've been saying this. I think Franz Wagner gets traded this offseason.
So are you thinking a 3-team deal then?
Franz has to go.
Simons?
I think Franz ends up in Portland. I've been saying this, and I know that's biased, but I think Franz finds a way in Portland. I think they just lost Mo Wagner, their scoring center, who had ridiculous 30 per 36 stats for them. I think like DeAndre Ayton would fit on that team. Anthony Simons. Like, I think there's a lot of pieces. It would have to be a 3-team trade because they'd have to figure out how to get more stuff. Portland has the number 9 pick. They don't want that. Like, there's a lot of different stuff where Orlando could retool and not necessarily like be a rebuilding team. But we've seen back-to-back years. That playoff lineup that they run out there is fucking terrible. Back-to-back years with Pancaro and Franz, it doesn't work.
Would you feel comfortable with Franz and Denny on the court together?
I don't know for Portland if it really makes us. I just genuinely think Orlando and Portland kind of is a trade package that fits. I think they need another guard scorer so badly, dude. Like, Anthony Black is cool. Jalen Suggs is cool, but Anthony Simons is a way better scorer than both them. Like,
why did Goga lose all his minutes this season for the Magic?
Goga didn't play any.
Goga played really well for them this season. And then once Wendell Carter got back, I understand they like Wendell Carter, but I mean, give Goga 20 minutes, something. What happened?
The other thing is I could see Portland like tossing in like a.
I think it came down to offense.
Monty Kamara is kind of a great defender that kind of fits a Magic type player that I could see them.
Oh, you guys aren't giving up to Monty.
I don't think so, but like to land Franz Wagner, this team needs a star. Portland needs a star, so I don't know. That's like Portland fans' dream type package.
I think if Franz is going to the same deal as Simons, then it's going to have to be a 3-teamer that sends Franz somewhere else. I don't think you guys have a need or desire for Franz.
You don't think a like Ayton's better than any center they have on their roster right now. He just is. Scoring wise, he would have helped them out. They could use him. You don't think theoretically, because Mo Wagner, I think he's gone. I'm like fairly certain he's gone. He might be under contract one more year, but he's banged the fuck up. I think Simons, being the Orlando kid, I think they'll value him higher. I agree with you. They're going to have to get a third team involved, but we have a lot of first-round picks we can ship. I don't know. Could be wrong.
It looks like he's under contract for another year for $11 million, and then he's an unrestricted free agent.
Mo,
yeah. I think Mo and Franz, they're not like a package deal, but I think Orlando shows enough respect to them that if they trade one of them, they're trading both.
Can they trade Mo though, technically, because he's still in like? Isn't there certain injured players you can't ship? Like, isn't there a thing? I swear there's like a date.
I don't. If there is, this is news to me.
Could be wrong.
He has a club option. The deadline for that is June 29th, 2025.
Yeah, you can do it in the NBA. Is it the NFL you can't?
There's a certain date where it affects the cap space differently. I think it's June 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
But I mean, they still have Isaacs and Wendell Carter for what it's worth. That's the other thing.
See, and my thing is, I feel like they're in a spot where we've seen the same, like they've had that nucleus of players for a long time.
I think this isn't my take. This is how I think from what we've seen so far, how the Magic see their team. I think they're fine with where their center's at, assuming they're not just like, they don't want to spend the bag on them.
That's the issue. Who's their center?
Wendell.
They played Gogo all year.
When Wendell was hurt. That's what I was saying.
When they had no centers.
Yeah, when Wendell came back, I was surprised that they didn't split minutes. That's what I was surprised by. But it seems like they're fine leaning on Wendell, especially because he can at least stretch it a little bit in the Paolo post rotation.
And that's the biggest problem with that team. They're ass at shooting threes.
Yeah.
So it's like they kind of had no choice playing Wendell. I'm not a big believer in Wendell, but it's like they kind of had no choice, especially all the money they just paid him the season before.
What's the gap between Simons and Franz from a trade perspective?
Obviously a huge gap. I think that's where you throw the picks.
Is Simons in a first enough?
Couple first. Bro, this Magic team hasn't won shit. Like, are they going to just keep doing that every year? Like, they're going to do what Portland did with Lillard, where it's a 1-seed exit every single year with a couple good players. Like, I don't know. I
think if they get Simons.
We just saw Luka traded. I just texted in the chat. Like, trades like this are going to start happening, especially, Doc, you've said it.
Yeah.
Teams are going to make bad decisions because OKC, everyone sees what they've done. Like, you know what I mean? Teams are going to get desperate. Teams are going to make trades. I don't know.
I think there's going to be trades made. I feel like getting Franz and Denny on the same team, it fixes one problem and causes another.
I get that part. It might not fit Portland. Portland doesn't have a ton of stars that would fit them, that they could actually make a trade that would fit. And I feel like Orlando's one that made sense.
Yeah. I do like the Simons story. But that goes back to my point. If Simons goes back to Orlando and Tatum misses at least half the year, I think Orlando finishes above the Celtics this next season.
They could. Yeah, I mean, healthy Jalen Suggs. They definitely could.
All right. Then we get into some interesting conversations after those six because 76ers, as it stands, are going to be healthy. They're going to have the second overall pick. Who knows what happens there? The Nets, they're probably going to sign a Ty Jerome and trade away Claxton for a package for like a Rui and a first type of deal. Then the Raptors, now they have Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley.
I like that Raptors
This gets very interesting. The Hawks, they're not going to be like top 6 contenders, but like you still don't want to play against a lineup of Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Okongwu, and Ricochet.
They'll still figure out a way to be a playing team. Don't worry.
They will, but they'll also be the team like we joked about the first half of the season. They're like they lose to all the bad teams, they beat all the good ones. Like you still don't want to play the Hawks.
Unfortunately, when you're in the play-in, you're probably going to play a bad team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's usually an issue.
The Hawks I have no read on, honestly. I can't tell what their play is.
I don't like the fit of their next two offensive players, both being non-shooters with a high usage Trae Young. One of those things has to change.
Shooting was such a problem for that team. Like, they'll go on streaks of just missing,
15 shots.
35 from 3.
Bro, when I bet on Trae Young assists and they shoot 4 of 31, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? But, I mean, the way I see it is, do the Hawks make a trade with Dyson or Jalen or Trae?
They shouldn't. I would keep Dyson and Jalen. I think those are their.
Then I think they trade Trae Young to who? Who needs Trae Young? Who's willing to spend on Trae Young?
I would have said the Spurs last year, but now it doesn't make any sense. The Magic do make sense.
But then if the Magic's
that team would be terrible though with like Franz it. Like
I don't think the Magic do it. I think that the pick and roll, they don't really want to run a pick and roll offense. And that's what if you're getting
they don't want to run any offense.
Yeah.
Perfect.
They have no offense.
Neither does he. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think like a Jordan Clarkson could make sense to Orlando, one of those type of guys. But Atlanta, like, do you like Karis LeVert off the bench there?
I do.
I think it makes sense, but like him and Trae Young did not look good together, in my opinion. Like they just
Karis LeVert isn't an off-ball player.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. He just looked off.
Yeah. I'm trying to look through the NBA and just see what teams would make sense to go for Trae Young.
I could see someone trying to copy what the Pacers did and just tell Trae he can't shoot 27 times a game. And like
good luck telling them that.
Yeah, that might not go over well, but like there's not a ton of teams that Trae Young makes sense to.
This actually wouldn't work, but I was gonna say, what if the Pelicans did some sort of Trae Zion type deal, and then you had Trae with Herbert Jones and Trey Murphy on the outside running the pick and roll with Missy?
Trey Murphy's gonna get a bag.
He is. Bag. Are they gonna give it to him though, or is he gonna leave?
It's probably gonna be a signing trade. It's kind of it seems like it's close to Pelicans just blowing it up.
I always see Zion to Portland, just random trades, and I do not want that man on my roster.
That's an interesting one. What would it take to get Trae in a offense with Giannis? I'll say this. I don't think if Giannis stays, I don't think he wants another pick and roll guard.
Yeah.
It sounds like he wants to be a point forward. Yeah. And him setting screens in a pick and roll is the opposite of that.
They need like a spot up guard next to him.
Yeah. I think they're going to try and do something where it's either like a good forward. I think they're going to like the big to small pick and roll rather than the inverted pick and roll rather than what they've been trying to do with Dame. So who would fit that? That would work with Simons, but then you get another fucking Portland Milwaukee trade.
They're not going to do that.
Hero to the Bucks, maybe. The Bucks have a lot of issues, man.
Yeah, and they're kind of in no man's land because their picks aren't worth shit.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they have Damian Lillard now injured. That's a tough spot.
So yeah, the East, I think that 6 to even 12 is wide open. I think we have to just keep assuming that the Hornets, the Wizards, and the Bulls.
You think Miami's out? They're done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bam, I've been seeing stuff, he could get moved.
He should, but Pat Riley won't.
Bam to the Spurs.
Pat Riley's is stubborn.
Have you been seeing those trades? Bam to the Spurs?
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, I think I saw
Imagine a lineup with Bam, Wemby, Castle, and freaking
Fox.
And if they found a way to keep Vassell, they'd probably have to give up Sohan. They'd probably have to give up.
I think the deal that I saw, I think it was Vassell, Sohan, and it said 4 firsts, which I think that's where it gets excessive. I think it'd probably be 2 firsts. So Vassell, Sohan, and 2 firsts for Bam. I think that becomes very interesting. I think that's huge. That's huge for the Heat, assuming you're getting the second round pick this year in that deal.
Right.
And then the issue is you're still kind of
feeding here to some suicide this offseason, dude. I'm fired up. I genuinely think there's going to be some moves.
Oh, I think this is going to be like one of the craziest. This gearing up to be one of the craziest off seasons in history.
Garland and Allen for Bam and Hero.
I wouldn't do that in a heartbeat.
You would do it?
Would not.
Oh.
I think Bam's better than Allen. I think there's a pretty decent gap between Garland and Hero, but I also don't know if Bam fits as much as Allen. Like, Allen is the perfect guy in a fucking core forward. It's like, hey, we don't really need you to do shit until we give it to you. Bam to maximize Bam, you need to put the ball in his hands, and we've seen all three of us get frustrated as hell when they put the ball in Bam's hands.
But Bam and Mobley together, low key, would be so sick.
But I think Hero at a 2 would be nice. As like a number 2.
So are you putting Don at the 1?
That you can't do it.
No.
DP.
You can get away with it, but it's not like.
But I think you make another.
If we make that trade, I don't think we're favorites coming out of the East anymore.
I think you find like another this.
I do.
Point guard.
Don is done with Darius Garland, bro. He's tired of having to big bro him.
No, he fucking loves Darius.
Maybe.
I think it was a situation last season, both with Allen and Garland, that if either of them got dealt, I don't know if he would have stayed.
What's keeping him there? It's not like they've done anything different than like when it's time in Utah. Like
they've gotten better every year since he got there.
I agree, and they're a contender again.
Garland and Suggs swap. I do like that.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's different issue than Hero, but it's like then we still don't have a true point guard, and we still have the issue of health. Like, let's not act like Suggs is consistently healthy either.
Yeah, but everyone's injured.
But Suggs hasn't played more than 53 games in a season. That's bad. That's real low.
Poor Doc. Everyone's trying to trade his.
No, there's trades that people bring up that I'm like, I don't want to, but I could, if it happens, I could get along with it.
So who would you trade Garland for?
Anyone.
The hard part is a lot of the guys that I would trade for are teams that are just like not looking to trade.
Theoretically.
Like, do you have to get a point guard back, DP?
Yeah, I think that's a big, because if we lose Garland, that was an issue that I felt like we had in that Pacers series. If we lose Garland, we don't have a true facilitator. Like, we already don't pass that. Like, our passes per game is already on the lower end in the NBA.
Yeah.
The offense is a lot more fluid when Garland's in there. If we now don't even have a true facilitating point guard, it gets even worse. So I think even if it's not a guy playing 35, like a guy like what Mike Conley is for the Timberwolves, even that would be enough to get back in a Garland trade. But if I'm looking through the Western Conference first. Don't see something I love there. I've seen people say DeJounte Murray, and I think I'd have to see how healthy he is coming out of what did he have again? Torn ACL?
His stock is down right now.
I know. So it'd be buying low, which is why I think I could get behind it. Yeah, Achilles. That's what maybe take a risk on that, but that's a pretty big risk.
Yeah. Especially coming off an Achilles with the type of player he is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. If we got even an Emmanuel quickly would be calming at least a little bit. Like, I don't know that I'd be happy, but I'm like, okay, let me see it before I actually judge it. Something like that.
You know who would low-key be fire on your team? Not even to glaze Portland, but like if you had to, Scoot Henderson would low-key cook on your team.
I feel like he'd be the same as that Karis LeVert was.
No. Bro,
are you saying off the bench or as a starter?
Passer. I'm not talking about his scoring.
Are you talking about off the bench or as a...
If you didn't have Garland, like if you had to plug in a guy like Scoot Henderson as your one, I think that roster he would thrive in.
I think he's still a little too raw.
I
think if you fast forward 2 years and plug him, I could see it. I think he's so raw.
When I watch the Cavs, I think Garland hurts more than helps offensively. Like when he's shooting, I think his facilitation is there. That's where I think like you guys need more Mitchell Love, more Mobley shot attempts. I don't know. I
agree on more Mobley.
I just think you have too many like guys that are like at the same, you know? Like I don't know. It's kind of similar to the Pelicans. Like when you're betting on the Pelicans, you never know who to take because there's Zion, Murray, Ingram, like back in McCollum, like when we were talking about the Pelicans. I don't know. I try to look at what the Cavs' issue is because, like, you guys do have one of the best rosters in the league. So, obviously, something – I don't know. Like, this was your year to win it all, bro. Like, dead ass. You guys should have – you know, like, you should
have – I think if I'm the Cavs GM, this is what I'm doing. Jerome, I love you. You're going to be way too expensive once your contract comes up. Somebody's going to pay you $20 million. Go and get it. Max Strus, you're now the sixth man coming in as a shooting guard during the non-Garland or non-Mitchell minutes. DeAndre Hunter in the starting lineup, or trade or sign for a real small forward. Somebody with size, somebody with physicality, somebody with energy. Because as much as I love
Hunter's fits, he's good. I like him.
I agree. But the only reason I say maybe not because I thought he'd get more run in the playoffs. And I have to think there's a reason that there was something going on in practice or something in the rotation that Kenny Atkinson didn't like the fit of as much as he hoped he would.
Also, he got traded mid-season, though. It's hard to make those
exactly. So
a lot of guys need a whole off-season.
Yep. So I'm fine with if it were up to me, and we're talking about 2K, DeAndre Hunter's at the 3 spot, but I'm trusting Kenny Atkinson if he thinks that's not the right spot for him. But if that's the case, we need to get a real small forward in there. But other than that, I think I'm still fine with Garland, Mitchell, Jared Allen, Mobley. I understand the arguments against it, and I understand there's some bias because there's some connection to it. But if we're talking about one, running it back, two, if you do trade any of those guys, I don't think we're getting our full worth back. Yeah. I think getting a real 3 is the big move. And these guys are young enough. If it doesn't work next year, they're young enough and the contracts are locked in. If it doesn't work next year, then I think you've seen it all. You know what you have to do. So I think there's still a good bit of unknown right now. Yeah.
So if they got to the Final Four and then lost, would you call that a good season and keep it?
It would depend on how it happened.
Fair.
Like if we got to the Final Four and lost to a team that in 5 to, like, let's say this year copied itself and we faced the Celtics in the conference finals, everybody was healthy and we lost in 5, I'd say, okay, there's clearly still a gap. Let's do something. But if Donovan Mitchell is playing through an ankle injury, Jared Allen's out, and they make like a buzzer beater in a game 7, I'm like, all right, we're going at it again next year.
Yeah, let's run this back.
Yeah.
Fair.
Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the guys are getting any more expensive.
And you guys don't, the only player that needs to get paid would be Jerome, right? Like he's the only.
Yeah. And again,
you got to keep Dean Wade in the rotation. He's like the best.
Yeah, and he's cheap.
He's the best win percentage player in the league. Did you see that? You guys were like 90% win rate or something.
Dean Wade, I'm telling you, bro, Dean Wade's nice. We got Jalen Tyson coming up the pipeline. Next year's probably still a little too soon, but he's got some promise. Craig Porter Jr., if at any point we need like a starter goes down for 20 games, Craig Porter Jr. is good enough until the playoffs.
I see it.
I don't understand why people hate Isaac Okoro. Give me 20 minutes of Isaac Okoro night and I'm happy. I think swap Sam Merrill and a first for like a real starting forward if we're not using Hunter. And I'm calling that a win. Because like we have Sam Merrill coming off the bench. Sam Merrill and Isaac Okoro. The Pacers had like Jarris Walker and Obi Toppin. Like there's a very big size and physicality and difference. And I think if we played the Celtics, potentially would have fallen into the same issue, like defending Tatum and Brown. And if we faced the Thunder, that definitely would have been an issue.
Yeah, we've been saying that for years, what Doc just said.
What?
I think a contender needs to go trade for Sexton.
Bro, give me Sexton as our 6th man over Jerome. I don't think we lose that series if we have Sexton.
Sexton to Orlando could be fire.
I think he takes too much usage from Banchero.
He could. And he's not a great facilitator, but
yeah,
he could do a little.
But I think Sexton coming off the bench is a 6th man for us. I said it during the series. I said this would be a great series if we had Sexton.
I've been seeing that. Nikhil Walker to Orlando. I don't think I love that.
I wouldn't like that.
He's not a consistent shooter to go there. They'll have defense, but that team needs shooting. And he's not consistent enough to, I don't know, just go there.
I think people are a little recency biased because he had a decent series.
I think he's going to time for 20.
You know what I mean, JJ? I don't think he's a shooter like that at all.
Yeah.
Or at least he hasn't notoriously been.
He's too streaky for me.
Cap tracker. Let's see.
That KCP addition for Orlando didn't really work out to
That was atrocious.
Yeah, that's why I don't really want N'Keal either, because I feel like you're just kind of drafting a guy to do that role.
Yeah.
Gary Harris there too.
Am I reading this right, or is every team over the cap next year? I'm confused.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It says Utah is the lowest cap space or lowest total cap, and they're 19 million over the cap somehow on Spock Track. I don't know. Let's just go in the order of like the top 10. Who could use Nickeil Alexander-Walker? There's Utah, Charlotte, Spurs, Chicago.
I think he's a valuable bench piece.
I agree. I'm saying if he's signing for $20 million a year, who has the money and it's worth it to go and get him?
That's a huge mistake if you do that, in my opinion.
$20 million a year for Nah.
Huge mistake.
I think we underestimate how little $20 million is in this iteration of the NBA. Like I'll say it again, Max Strus is $15 million a year.
I know.
And that's still too much.
For
his play.
But then like Isaiah Joe's at $11 million a year. And like it's easy to look at and say, oh, $11 million is a lot. Like that's too much. But then when you actually compare it to where the other contracts are in the NBA, you're like, okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to stay within the cap area that you need to be in, like
that adds up.
A lot of these guys are getting overpaid.
Yeah, facts.
All right. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Duncan Robinson.
I take N'Keal.
I would take N'Keal too facts.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Vucevic?
Which one?
Which Vucevic?
The Cuddy for the Wizards?
Tristan? No, obviously not the Cuddy for the Wizards. Nickeil Alexander-Walker or...
I'll take Vuce.
Yeah, same.
And really?
Different players, so I don't know how that comp even.
I think
it's kind of hard to compare because you don't know what
You're giving us a 7-foot center, brother.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker
that can shoot. He was shooting like 40% from three, right?
Yeah, I'm taking Vuce too.
All right, that's fair. Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Davis Caldwell-Pope.
See, that's my issue, Doc. I think they're the exact.
I think they're the same player.
That's who's making $20 million. That's why I'm bringing this up.
And we all say he shouldn't be making $20 million.
That's why
everybody's saying that's an overpay.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's what that tier of $20 million is. That's who those players are. So we might look at it and say, oh, they're not worth $20 million. But if that's what the market is, then that's what he's going to get.
Yeah, facts.
Somebody's going to pay.
And seeing what KCP did this year. I mean,
exactly. If Orlando does that,
think that market changes?
Yeah, exactly. If Orlando does that, but when Malik Beasley just get paid by Detroit? What did he get paid? 19.
I feel like he's getting underpaid for what he did.
Hold on, I thought you were going to.
He got less than KCP, Doc.
Yeah.
See, like you can't give 20 to N'Keal. You can't.
What up, DK?
I don't even see Malik on here. Malik Beasley on here. Rui Hachimura, $18 million.
What contract is he?
I'd rather Rui, but not on the Lakers.
I'd definitely take Rui.
Yeah, same.
Kyle Kuzma, 22. Well, holy fuck! Aaron Gordon's only making 22.8.
Is he towards like the end of his contract?
I think I'm pretty sure they backloaded theirs.
Hold on. Okay, so those numbers are definitely not correct. Oh, so yeah. So next year it'll be $32 million for Gordon.
Yeah.
I think that's when a new contract hits. Never mind.
Is this a Lakers space?
What?
Is this a Lakers space?
No, this is not a Lakers space. But is Jay McDaniels up for a new contract? No, he's locked in for a little while.
If I'm the Timberwolves, I'm trying to bring N'Keal back.
All right, let's start this discussion then. If you're the Timberwolves, you have the option between Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Naz Reid, $30 million, Nickeil Alexander, $20 million. Which one are you doing?
I'm saying
knowing you're already in the second apron, by the way, because they are.
I'm saying goodbye to Naz. I signed Julius Randle for a reason, or I traded for Julius Randle for a reason.
Yeah, say goodbye to Naz.
I think that's what I'm doing, and I'm trying to move DiVincenzo.
I don't think you can get what you want for DiVincenzo right now.
I know, but I would bite that bullet because him and N'Keal kind of clog minutes.
I think they're running into a very bad situation very soon, maybe even this season, where Gobert is very effective when Conley's on the floor. When Conley's off the floor, his effectiveness goes down significantly. And Conley, you can't lean on him to get 30 minutes a game for 80 games next season. So I think you're going to have to make a decision on Rudy Gobert very soon.
I will say that Rudy Gobert game against the Lakers made me so happy when everyone said he was going to get played off the court. And, we don't need a center. And they didn't want to call Portland and come get one of the centers that we had. That made me so happy seeing. What do you have, 20-something rebounds?
Yeah, he had 20 and 20.
20. I agree, though, Doc. The Gobert situation's tough. I don't know what you do with the Timberwolves, but you have to do something. I low-key think they lost the Cat trade.
If they can figure out Dante, I think that narrative changes. But as long as Dante's playing like he did this season, I think I agree.
Well, if you get rid of those guys and put Cat back on their team, like Cat and Gobert obviously was a little annoying, but like Nikhil kind of fits the DiVincenzo role. You still got McDaniels, you got Conley, you got Ant. I don't know. Nikhil might get paid though if KCP and Malik are at $20 million.
I think you will.
The Timberwolves need a real number one option.
You want to have that conversation? You want to start that one? Because I will.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We need to chill on Anthony Edwards. He's not a top 10 player yet.
He's not there yet.
Soon.
The key word, yet.
Yet. And if you actually lay it out, bro, people wanted to put him in the Shea and Luke. People were honestly telling me that he was better than Luka Doncic. We need to pump the brakes. And I was saying that well before they lost that series. But that series was
better than Donovan Mitchell? Is he better than Donovan
Mitchell? I think those two are in the same tier. I think Anthony Edwards is in that 10 to 15 range. I have Donovan Mitchell in that like 8 to 12 range.
No comment.
No comment. That's what we're here for. Let's have that discussion.
No, we have to have that conversation.
The Ant hate that you guys both get, I already know.
It's not hate. No. It's not hate. A year ago, I was on the other side of this. At the start of the season, I said people are giving Anthony Edwards too much shit for losing as a 22-year-old in the playoffs. He's very good. He just needs to develop a consistent shot, and we're having a different conversation. Now everybody's overcorrected because he beat LeBron and Steph for reasons much bigger than Anthony Edwards. Let's not act like he was out here consistently getting 30, 35. He had a lot of stinkers that they won anyways, and nobody talked about. So
his ability to adjust in the playoffs is what bothers me.
Terrible. And he's only 23. This isn't like
I think that's what separates you from being like a true number one option that's like top 10 in the league to like a Tyler Hero. You know, they can still go get buckets. They'll still have their explosive games, but you're not going to be consistent throughout an entire playoff series.
I'm not going to argue like 10 to 12 to 14. We obviously would have to list all the players out, but I just think he gets a lot of flack for his age. Not many guys are going to go push LeBron like that. Not many guys are cut from that cloth. I think we've seen year after year of Donovan Mitchell. We've only seen a couple years of Ant Edwards, so I do get like obviously taking Mitchell's hype. I've just always been higher on Edwards. I feel like he doesn't have the same, especially now that Cat's done, he did not have the same personnel around him. Their second best player is Naz Reid. Like, I don't know.
Do you honestly believe if they switched roles, either team would have done better or worse?
Put Edwards on the Cavs, they win the chip instead of Mitchell. That I truly 100% feel that way. Put Ant Edwards, they have that dog. They win.
I think our issues were way bigger than Donovan Mitchell.
They win the entire thing because your guys' issue.
How does
Mitchell was getting like 40 plus, and he was still losing.
Yeah, I think it solves it.
Not doing any different.
Mitchell's banged up a lot. He's had that knee issue. He's had for how many years now, Doc?
Last year was the only year that was an issue.
I think they won it all, bro. Ant Edwards, low key, you put him on that team.
What issue does he solve in that Pacers series?
He scored 33 plus
on him. Does anything change?
4 out of the 5 games in the Pacers
gets
series.
That post up. Can Anthony Edwards handle a full court press better than Donovan Mitchell?
Similar. Yeah, similar. Bro, Donovan Mitchell, we've seen 10 straight years in the playoffs. 10 straight years we've seen him. So why has he not been able to get over the hump? We've seen him 10 straight years. Like, it's not like it's new.
Those Utah Jazz teams had no business being as high-seeded as they were. That was all Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gobert was the second best player on that Utah Jazz team.
So who's Ant Edwards' second best player? Rudy Gobert?
Julius Randle?
Julius Randle is not even close.
He just got traded, and everyone was saying how bad he was the year prior, how trash he was. JJ's.
Yeah, he definitely
and he proved everybody wrong this season.
He was a big part of the reason they handled the Warriors as easily as they did, because Anthony Edwards was having trouble before they switched.
This type of talk for Ant Edwards, we have to at least see it 50-50 with Donovan Mitchell. He's literally had the same type of career. He's had the same type of teams.
But just in a vacuum, what does Anthony Edwards do better than Donovan Mitchell?
Someone just said Donovan Mitchell went down 1-2 to Luka-less Mavs with home court.
Yeah, because Rudy Gobert and Bogdanovich were his next best two players.
I'm just saying, you always got a little excuse for Mitchell, and then everything.
No, in a vacuum. What does Anthony Edwards do better than Donovan Mitchell?
Honestly, I think he hits clutch big shots better.
Anthony Edwards is hold on. Anthony Edwards is not good in the clutch. His shooting percentage in the clutch is terrible, very bad. I don't know where that narrative came from. He's really bad.
Bro, Mitchell has done the same thing career-wise. They've done the same exact thing. How many rings does Mitchell have? How many championships? How many
No, but as a player, what does he do better than Donovan Mitchell? I'm being serious.
He's a way better defender.
I think the Ant as a defender thing is super overblown, by the way.
Way better.
I think he can. I think when he turns it on for one important possession, he can be a great defender. But play to play for a full 48 minutes, he is very overrated as a defender. And that OKC series, by the way, the first two games, he was being fucking ridiculed because his off-ball defense was turning off so much.
But it's easier for you to argue because you're passionate about it, Donovan Mitchell. I don't give a fuck about either player. I'm just telling you what I see. Ant Edwards, I'm not an Ant Edwards stan. I'm just telling you, if you're going to hate on one of them so freaking much, like both you guys do, I've heard so much Ant Edwards slander. It can't just be, but Donovan Mitchell's all good when he's done the same career. He's had the same path. When he gets knocked out to the Luka-less, we're like, it's okay, though, because he only had these two guys. But then when Donovan Mitchell has Julius Randle shoot 2 of 15 in a game, it's like, he's got Julius Randle.
We're having different arguments, though, because the reason that we tell people to chill on Anthony Edwards is because they're like, Anthony Edwards versus Luka Doncic.
They're putting him in conversations.
No, we got to chill because
we're not having that argument. We're talking.
But I'm saying if people were doing the same thing with Donovan Mitchell, I'd be saying the same thing. Like, let's chill. He's not there.
That's where I disagree with you.
No, I can tell you right now, he doesn't. There's Luka, Shea, Tatum, Curry. They're all a tier ahead of Mitchell, and I'm just saying the same thing about Ant. But nobody's putting Mitchell in that tier, so I don't have to make that argument.
What's Donovan Mitchell's age?
29.
What's Ant Edwards' age?
23. I'm saying right now. If you were to trade straight up because of their age, you're trading Ant's higher value than Donovan Mitchell. But if you're taking one playoff series right now tomorrow, I don't think there's a real argument.
I've seen 10 years of Donovan Mitchell. No question. I'd rather the player.
I'm saying there's so many circumstances that come into play for both guys in a playoff series if you're looking at one thing. I'm saying as a player, if you're just looking at what they're capable of, if you were to put a 2K rating, you were to put a rating on each attribute of that player, how many things are we confidently saying that Anthony Edwards is better than Donovan Mitchell at?
Yeah, couldn't tell you. I'm not a biased Stan fan. I will be honest and just tell you what I'm seeing. The goal is to win it all. I don't really care about individual ratings.
But I'm saying that's why I think they're the same tier.
But is winning the main thing? Is winning the goal?
Yes, but there's a lot more factors than one player that goes into winning a championship. Think about how many Hall of Famers that never won a championship. If we're only using rings as a debate, then we've lost sight of the debate.
But that's the old heads thing with Jordan and LeBron. That's what
we don't give a fuck about the old heads.
We're not talking about them. We ain't
got no old heads up here.
We're smarter than that. We're smarter than that. We know. I agree. There's a lot that goes into an NBA player other than just did their team win a championship or not. If Jordan didn't exist, how would the narrative change for so many of those players in that 7-year span? They didn't get better or worse just because Jordan was playing or not playing. Just the result of that team changed.
Look at the East this year. The East, everyone said was the Celtics. Tatum got hurt. How the hell could that Cavs team not escape this East? Honestly, like that is my thing. This was the best roster. If Donnie Mitchell is that dude, how? Put Ant Edwards on that team. They escaped. Like, how could they not win this? The Knicks sucked. The Pacers were mid, and they're still in the like. This was the Cavs' year. It was
but what is Anthony Edwards going to do better in that series? That's going to lead them to a win.
Score.
What would
when Garland
score? Donovan Mitchell averaging 40 in that series. You think Ant's going to just go and average 50 and solve everything?
No, gang, obviously not. I'm just saying you guys have to do something. If you're okay with this every year, then okay. But
that's not the argument right now. The argument is if you're saying we're going to hold it against Donovan Mitchell because they didn't win the East with this unhealthy Celtics roster, what would Anthony Edwards have changed in that result?
What am I arguing?
If your argument is that Donovan Mitchell should be held accountable because the Cavs didn't win in a depleted East.
I'm saying you need to hold him accountable because you both shit on Ant Edwards and then give Donnie the pass, and we've seen it.
But nobody's putting Don in the Shea conversation. That's what we're talking about. Many people.
What was the argument? I said you have him 8 to 10, and it's 12 to 14, is what you said. Like we're arguing nothing. I'm telling you.
I'm saying they're in the same tier. You're saying
no, you weren't. You were saying Don is significantly.
I said Don is 8 to 12. Anthony Edwards is 10 to 15. They're right there.
But
if you want to put Don 12 and Ant 11, that's fine.
Right now, it would literally be like me trying to argue Jalen Hurts to you guys. I'm obviously going to be biased to my team. We're going to just keep running circles right here. Like I'm just telling you what I see. If you're okay with this type of that's cool. He's a good player. Donnie Mitchell is a good player. Like he's 30 years old. Good player. He's never been able to win. Ant Edwards will definitely have a ring by 29, 30. That I will say that.
How many young guys have we said that about? That we're just sure they're going to have a ring?
None. SGA and Ant. That's it for me. Ant's cut from that cloth, bro. There's only certain guys. Like there's a reason they comp him to Kobe and like Jordan. Like I don't know.
They did the same thing with Jimmy Butler when he was making those playoff runs. He doesn't have a ring.
He got to the ship with the Heat roster. If you want to start talking about taking poor talent, like I don't know.
Didn't get a ring.
And he still didn't win shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it's all about winning, he didn't get a ring.
This is why you can't argue with you about your teams.
Bro. No, I'm using your argument against you.
I gave you my reasoning.
I'm using your argument against you. Why can't this is again?
We're talking about the current players right now. Well, at least me. I'm talking about the current players of where they're at right now. You can't put either of them in the Shea conversation, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, Shea's gonna go get his first ring this year.
Ant will have the higher ceiling compared to Donovan Mitchell, right?
Right.
But he's just not there yet. Once he learns to read a defense mid-game, he's gonna get to that level easily, to where he can put himself within those Shea conversations. But right now, he's just not there.
Someone said respect Jimmy. We're not talking about Jimmy. I'm not arguing Jimmy. I just
carried by Caleb Martin.
I don't think we're going to be on the same point. I think that Cavs team was so damn talented. The fact that they couldn't get to this ship this year, this was probably like the most open I've seen it ever, the East for them. I just think something's got to change. So doing the same thing, it might not be Donnie Mitchell, but doing the same roster, they were going to have the same outcome, in my opinion. I would personally take the 23-year-old star that I've only seen in the playoffs 3 times that it took his team at 21 than Donovan Mitchell, but that's obviously I'm not a fan of Donovan Mitchell. So
let's go with this hypothetical. Yeah. Do we think the Timberwolves get past Golden State if Steph Curry doesn't get hurt?
Yes, honestly.
Coming in, I was very high on the Timberwolves, and I would have said yes. I think seeing how much they had to lean on Randall when Anthony Edwards was having trouble against the way Draymond was defending the pick and roll, I think it would have been a debate.
I think it'd been a much closer series.
Yeah.
Than what the outcome was.
I think that easily could have been a 7-game series if Curry was healthy.
Yeah. I think it goes 7. And then experience comes down to that game 7.
Like that was a Julius Randle series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If the Cavs, my last thing, if the Cavs didn't have Donovan Mitchell, How many more games are they? Like they're winning 3 less games
on the season or in the playoffs?
On a season, they're probably still winning.
Oh no, no.
Oh yes, yes. A healthy Cavs team without Donovan Mitchell, they're winning 50 in the East. Absolutely,
high 40s, low 50s. Yeah, we were what 62 win team. That's a pretty big difference. That's a pretty big gap, Austin.
52 to 60 obviously is like a decent gap, I guess. But the East is open. You're still there. Take Ant Edwards off the Timberwolves.
You're still in the playoffs, but we're not taking. Like nobody's really worried about the Cavs.
Yeah,
we're still there because we get like Cavs 20 wins.
Thank you, Legoat. Thank you. Cavs went 9-2 without Mitchell this year. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, go look at because we're resting Mitchell in games where we're playing fucking Washington and Charlotte. It's not that he just missed 11 games because he was injured.
Yeah, look at the on-off stats too.
Like we were selectively resting him in games that we knew we were gonna win. It wasn't like we had
a
stretch.
Argument is they're definitely the same, if not Eileen Ant, but
that's my point. They're in the same tier. People were talking about this whole argument started because I said people were getting ahead of themselves putting Ant in the Shea, Luka, Tatum debate. And I said we got to chill on that. And I said Donovan Mitchell is in the same tier as him. I would lean Donovan over him. You said you'd lean Ant over him. But that's my point. They're in the same tier.
And we opened this talking about how he's not there and he's not. Come on. You know,
yeah, not in that Shea tier. That's JJ was the one that brought it up.
I'm pulling up his playoff history just so I can have an actual feel of his matchups. But I'm with you. We can keep it moving.
All right. On the topic of where younger players are ranking, what does Tatum have to do to become the top player in the NBA? Because I think he's confidently top 5, but I don't think anybody's putting him higher than 4. Because I think his issue is he's really, really good at everything. He's not the best at anything. And I think you can say that about all the guys that are in the top 4 now and at any point in history, talking about the top 4 players in the season.
His injury makes it so hard for me to like.
I know.
Like, I really don't know. You know?
I know.
It's super hard to defend him because, like, he could come back and be cooked.
I mean, he's young, though. I think
young.
Modern medicine, he'll be all right.
Because they're saying that him getting his surgery earlier, like, boosts his chances of coming back sooner or something like that. Like, what's your take on that? You're the medical guy.
I don't think I have the medical expertise to know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, that's what, because a lot of the reports were saying that when he first got his surgery,
he was going to be like 8 months or something, or like an 8 to 12 month exactly. And then I was seeing some reports that it was supposed to take way longer than like what.
No, it won't be longer.
You don't think it's you? No. So you think he's back next season,
or not for the start, but at some point
towards the end of the season?
The issue is he's going to cut. Let's say he comes back February. You still have to load manage him till April.
That's so hard. I mean,
you just need to have him ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess
based on what the timetables look like.
So you're just all in for trying to get him for the playoffs. So he's not. Ready for regular season. That's probably what they do then.
Yeah,
he won't be ready for regular season, even with the best.
I just feel like those teams that always get a guy back for the playoffs never can really make noise because it's like they've had no chemistry.
It's the same reason it's very rare that a team that makes a big midseason trade actually makes noise in the playoffs.
Colin is saying exactly what I wanted to touch on.
His shot
selection.
Tatum's.
And it's part of how they do their analytics for that team. He has a bag. He doesn't use it because of how they want him to play.
So then are we holding that against him, putting him at 5, or are we...
He doesn't have to use it, though, to be honest. Like, he's out there just balling with stars. Like, that team's so loaded when he's healthy. Like,
yeah, and then he can still shoot, 8 of 24 from the field and still win by 15. Like,
he doesn't really need a bag there.
But that also impacts the player itself, right? Like, you have to hold that accountable. Like, how much of an impact do you really have on this team?
But then we see the Celtics without him on the floor, and we see a big difference is the thing.
Yeah.
Because you also have to think defensively. I mean, he's one of the most versatile defenders in the NBA, even if he's not one of the best.
It's a tough conversation.
He's one of the few players you can realistically put him defending 1 through 5, and you're not like, oh shit, we got him switched. Like even Bam, obviously we say he can defend 1 through 5. Getting a switch onto a point guard, it's still very clearly a big switch onto a point guard, and you have to defend it.
For if Tatum, Embiid had played enough games last year, he wasn't making first team All Pro or All NBA.
Are you asking me or are you telling me?
No, I'm telling you.
So then we're in agreement that Tatum is top 5. Because the way I see it, this is the way I view Tatum and his place in the NBA. There's Jokic, Giannis, Shea, Luka as the top 4. Tier break. Tatum, tier break, everyone else. So what does he have to do to get to climb that tier? Like we say shot selection, but
he's already in that tier for me. Honestly, I feel like him and Luka are similar tiers for me. I've always had them similar though.
I think I
value winning more than most though.
You mean the guy that was just in the finals last year?
I value guys that win. That's all. I'm not
the guy that was in the finals last year.
It has nothing to do with Luka. I'm saying I value guys that win. Tatum already has a ring.
But I'm saying how are we giving credit to one and not the other when they were literally facing each other in the finals last year?
You can say they're the same tier. Like Luka just got traded.
Okay.
Usually stars don't get traded, right? Like if they're, I don't know. I think Tatum's done everything he can. People are just gonna have to accept either he's in that or they're not gonna put him there. Like he's not gonna get better after a torn Achilles. He's probably gonna be the same. Or be worse, realistically. Is he going to get
maybe better? Not next year, but the year after I could see him. If it really worked,
I could see it works, that I'm just talking directly next year, like when he plays. Like is he really I don't know.
I think Luka, you can't game plan for Luka. You can game plan for Tatum.
I like Luka more. I'm a Luka fan, so I'm not gonna obviously argue there. But I do think Tatum people are hard on.
No, I've overcorrected as well. Kind of the same thing with Halliburton, where I used to be like hold Tatum accountable a little too much, and now I'm like, okay, like he's fixed everything I want him to. He's actually really fucking good.
What exactly did he fix for you?
I think he got a lot better as a facilitator.
Are you talking about Halliburton, JJ?
No, Tatum.
Okay.
I think Tatum improved a lot as a facilitator. I think last year. Like his good assist games are when teams were being very obvious with their defensive coverages and just saying anybody but Tatum. This year, I think he's gotten a lot better at playing chicken with the help defender or holding the ball and seeing what's ahead of him. He's not Luka. I guess that's
what happens when you got great shooters around you too. Like it's kind of easy to make those reads.
Would you agree with that? He's low-key secretly a villain of the NBA. Like people hate him.
Yeah.
It's because he does corny shit. That's the problem.
And he's on the Celtics.
He's on the iconic shit, huh?
And he's on the Celtics, yeah.
But when he's doing the like we did it and all that shit, that's got to be why. But
see, but like for me, like I'm fine making fun of that on social media, but I'm not holding that against him.
I low-key love that he does it personally. I think it's so funny now that I think he should just keep doing it because
I think it'd be funny if it was intentional. Like he's like, I'm gonna piss so many people off for this. I think he's genuinely like, oh, I want to do this, and then like not realizing what he's doing.
My thing is like the one when he copied Kanye West. Like some of those, it's like you don't think people are gonna put that like that. I guess you'll never know. Like
that one was intentional, but I think like the one where he copied like Kobe, then KG, then Steph. I was like, all right, we're pushing.
Yeah, I low-key think it's funny now. I think he just keeps running with it and makes it like intentful.
Yeah. Somebody said we've never seen Tatum carry a team like anyone in the top 5. I think he has.
What? Never had it. I feel like Tatum's not had to the last couple of years to carry those teams.
I agree and disagree because I know I've said this like 5 times, but I'll say it again. I think we underestimate how important he is to that offense just because we know Derek White is good, Jaylen Brown is good, but I think we ignore how much better they are when Tatum is in there with his gravity.
Their efficiency as a team with him off the court really hasn't changed much from this season and last season. It's kind of crazy.
Are you saying
offensively and defensively?
But I'm saying, are you saying that they're just as efficient this year as they were last year, or that they're not that much different with his on-off splits?
they're not that much different when it's on-off splits comparing this year and last year.
Well, maybe I'm just think about what I see too much. I just feel like whenever I watch, I feel a much bigger difference.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's completely understandable.
I'm trying to look at. I want to see what he ranked in like the effective field goal percentage and true shooting and all that. I honestly don't know where he was in that range. I guess what is this? 50.6% efficiency or effective field goal percentage. I guess that's not great. If I look at, I guess at that. Well, Luka's not that much higher, but obviously he had a weird season. Oh, Shea's not that high either. Shea and Tatum have the exact same effective field goal percentage, 50.6. This is the playoffs. Never mind. Wow, Shea's effective field goal percentage is that low?
Probably because those step back threes.
Probably. Let's see. Let's see where Tatum ranked on the season. 262, 53.7%. Shea was at 56.9, so not that much of a difference. Luke at 53.6. So the efficiency isn't that crazy different when you stack him up against the guys that we're comparing him to from a shooting standpoint. I feel like he needs something in his game where like you see it happening, you're like, shit. Like the Shea in the mid range and the foul bait, and you're like, oh no. Giannis when he gets downhill, fuck. Jokic when he gets in a post up, we're cooked. Yeah. I don't think there's anything with Tatum where you're like, yep, there it is. And I feel like that's missing. Like that's what keeps him out of that next step. Where you're like, oh yeah, he's that guy. Like we know he's that guy because obviously this is what we do. But just when you turn on the TV and you're watching a singular game, what makes it click? What makes you see it? And that's where it gets tough with Tatum.
Yeah.
See you, Austin. All right. You got it. You got any arguing points for us, JJ?
It's just if everyone is healthy in the league, it's very hard for me to put him like right at 5.
Oh, who do you have ahead of him at 5?
I gotta go through the list. Hold up.
Let's pull up the ringer again.
This is about to be so bad.
What, JJ's take or the ringer?
Tatum's top 5, JJ. Come on.
You think he's top 5? I don't think much has changed in this game outside of making simple pass reads this season.
Who you got ahead of him, man? Edwards?
Here's the 6 to 12.
I think top 5 should be just simply superstar category.
Fair.
Is he a superstar, you guys would say?
He's a star.
I would.
I think he's a star. He's a great player. It's just hard for me to put him as categorized as superstar.
I just think him and Luka are the same like level for me. Like I have them in the same. I think they're both damn good, and I'm not gonna like disrespect them. You know, like that's where
Luka's a walking 30-point triple-double.
Right. Yeah. Tatum's low key.
Tatum's like a 25, 9, and 6. I'm not talking like obviously box score stats the shall we look at, but I don't 30-point triple-double for that to basically be your average. That's fucking insane.
No, it's crazy. Yeah. Tatum's a better defender.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Significantly better.
I'll say significantly better defender.
So you have to value that. Tatum's got the ring. I know we don't value winning on this stream, so we can't speak about winning, but Tatum does have the ring. Tatum doesn't have the weight. I like the weight.
He can be 400 pounds. If he's giving me 30, 10, and 10, I don't care.
He got traded because he was fat, apparently.
He got traded because Nico Harrison's a fucking idiot.
That was so bad. When people were trying to say that was the reason, too, that was ridiculous.
Oh, my God, dude. I thought it was so funny when he started doing.
You said they're worried about his weight, so he might not be healthy, and then you trade for AD. Like, what sense does that make?
Also, here's the thing. Like, we know Luka has that switch where if you piss him off, like, shit changes. You don't think he's going to get in shape once you trade him? just to stick it to you.
Yeah, did you see
and if that's the reason, don't fucking advertise that. Because you know that's what he's gonna do.
Did you see when when they said that he was drinking a little too much, or that they were concerned that he was drinking?
Yeah.
What 25-year-old doesn't enjoy drinking a little bit?
I promise any of these stars, if they don't have a game the next morning, they're fucking getting hammered.
They're partying.
They're partying. They're smoking.
James Harden in the fucking middle of COVID was in the middle of a fucking club while the rest of his team was in Disney, and I don't hold that shit against Harden.
Lemon pepper Lou.
Yeah. The fact that people were trading him because he liked drinking and shit, it was like, what 25-year-old millionaire like that isn't enjoying that a little bit?
And these players always say they end practice early during the day. They don't have a game. They're going out and partying.
Yeah, bro.
They have nothing else to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what else they got to do? They're gonna be able to be recovered. Yeah.
They'll go to practice at 5 a.m, be done by 12.
Yeah, and you got nothing all day.
And if you fucking 20 beers deep at 2 a.m. and you wake up the next morning and drop 35, 12, and 8, by all means, I'll give you the beers for tonight.
Yeah, go party. That's facts.
All right, JJ, we gave you some time to think about it. Who's fifth over Tatum when everybody's healthy?
I thought you were pulling up the ringer.
Oh, I have it put up. I just didn't have the screen shared.
Oh.
Here, let me share my screen for you guys. Let me do this. Come on. Playback's not cooperating. Here we go.
So is Halliburton in our top 10?
I think it's a conversation.
I was gonna say
if somebody does here's the way I'll say it. If somebody doesn't have him, I get it. For me, I think that's a conversation that we're getting there.
Can't wait to see Desmond Bane top 70. Yeah, see, these guys are done with the ringer thing. I don't blame you. I see Mitchell already, and I'm done.
No, it's just so we don't miss it. If we're talking about top 5, we'll look 6 to 15. So we make sure
there's not a name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're not doing LeBron at 8 either.
JJ, here's your options: Steph, Ant, LeBron, Don, Brunson, Durant, Wemby, Mobley, Anthony Davis, Cade. Which, by the way, that reminds me, I have another one I want to talk about, but we'll get there.
Cade's top 10 for me now too. I will say.
That's got to be rage bait. All right, so JJ, who are we putting above Tatum? And Embiid's not on here, since you want to say if we're assuming everybody's healthy.
Because that would be Embiid. If you're looking at a completely healthy team, a healthy player, all within a vacuum, it's Embiid.
I can't say I hate that take.
I don't hate that either, but I think this list shows that Tatum's probably 5 still. Health, if we're putting health aside.
Yeah.
I would see him
if we're
I personally see him as 6 or 7,
So Embiid's your only guy you'd probably put ahead of him though? Just healthy Embiid?
Purely healthy, yeah.
Fair.
I'm curious to see what Wemby's gonna do when he's back.
Dude,
where his game goes.
I think Wemby's already top 10 personally.
I kind of think so too.
Because, I'll be the first to say it. I'm taking him over Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, for sure. It's not even close.
Taking him over Brunson. I'm probably taking him over Anthony Edwards.
I don't even know why you're saying probably.
Who outside of the top 5, who are we taking over Wemby? Steph, maybe. I think that's it.
We're taking Wemby over all these guys. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I say that because Wemby's all the way down here at fucking 12. I think we're too low on Kawhi, but I understand he doesn't do it.
I think the injuries is what brings him down, which makes sense from people's eyes.
That's where he needs to be, in my eyes. The injuries have to pay eventually.
But for one playoff series,
K's not in my top 15 until he stops turning the ball over.
I'm with you. I feel like
that's a fair take, right?
Jimmy. I think that's where I'd cut it off.
Jaren Jackson Jr. is 22 on this thing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's bad.
For what he's doing, he needs to be higher.
All right, I got another topic for us to discuss then. Memphis. I know Austin's going to hate this one. This is the one I said was basically going to be bait for Austin, even though that's not the intent. Memphis needs to trade everybody except Ja. Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane have to go. I think what was it, 3-4 years ago when they made that, everybody thought they were making a run. We're like, oh, this super young, promising team. They're gritty. They have a chance at being like a potential dynasty if they take the Warriors off. I don't think Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane have gotten good enough since then. And I think we've seen what we can see. But I think Ja is enough of a game breaker where you almost have to keep taking that risk with him.
I agree that you do need to trade something. Like, you either have to trade Ja or you have to blow up the core. So I agree there. I'm higher on Jaren Jackson than most.
I'm getting rid of Bane first.
I was going to say, like, trading JJJ to me, they don't make that many of those builds. Like, I value that 7-foot power forward. But I think Desmond Bane's got to go too, JJ.
Bane to the Magic. Bane to the Magic. That's a good fit.
Bro, they need a point guard. Corey Joseph started a playoff series for him. Like,
yeah, who do you start at point guard if you put Desmond there? You can't let him be the one.
Yeah, like that team infuriates
you. I mean,
playing PG would be.
He's not a natural point guard, obviously.
He could do it though.
And for an 82, obviously, like he's not exactly Rondo. I mean, the games without Ja, he was getting 8 assists a game. I don't know if that number's right, but like people were betting him over 7.5 assists pretty consistently whenever Ja was out.
I think it was like the first half of the season. The second half of the season when Ja was out, he wasn't getting those assists.
That's because they kept trying to Luke Kennard at point guard. That was an interesting decision.
I like betting on his assists when he was at point guard.
I'm probably taking Jalen Williams over Jimmy Butler.
Yeah,
I'm taking Denny Audrey over Jimmy Butler right now, dead ass.
But Jimmy Butler's definitely moved down in the rankings after these playoffs.
All right,
we watched him all year. He's not that good anymore.
Jalen Williams or Paolo Banchero?
Paolo.
I'm taking J-Dub.
Oh my goodness, JJ, come on.
As a one, it's Paolo. If I'm just making a team, I think I'm taking J-Dub because I don't know if I want Paolo as my one.
Yeah, fair.
And I think J-Dub is a much better 2 or 3.
I think Paolo's skill set is definitely a specific type, and I don't know if you can win a ring with that. So I would probably go J-Dub too, I guess, with that sense. But I just think Paolo is a damn good player.
I think
he's a damn good player for sure.
I think his roster sucks. Like, I think they've built nothing around him.
I think Paolo is 2 inches too short to win with the play style that he is.
Facts. He's a little small.
Yeah.
Because, like, even if you surround him with shooting, then you're basically saying, okay, do what Giannis is doing, but he's smaller than Giannis. All right, so Embiid over Tatum, and then obviously Wemby behind Tatum, assuming full health. Then a tier break. Another discussion that I think Bill Simmons at The Ringer kind of started on social media a little bit. Is LeBron still top 15?
Going into next season?
Yeah.
Let me see the list again.
My thing is, here my take, JJ. If you're taking a series to win a championship right now in the playoffs, he's probably in there. Like, if you're naming 15 players. But can he do it again, a full 82? I
don't know.
That's where it's like.
That's where I think my argument is too.
It gets real tough right there.
If I'm drafting 15 guys today to play tomorrow, yeah, he's probably in mine. But
that's exactly you took the words right out of my mouth.
Father time catches all. I know it hasn't caught LeBron, and it's insane that he's still going, but
like I'm taking LeBron over Cade right now.
Yeah.
For one series. Yeah. For one series tomorrow. That's how I'm viewing all these rankings, by the way. I think if you want to, like, you can talk full season, you can talk this, that, or the other thing. to decide how you want to rank players. I think if we're just trying to evaluate who is the better player and what they can contribute to winning, I think assuming a 1-series sample size is the best way to do it. But that's just me personally. And I think I'm taking LeBron over KD.
I am.
Are you taking LeBron over KD?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have the same.
For the simple fact that
the same age.
KD is just not a leader on the court, and that kind of brings it down for me.
KD's been too worried about KI.
You have to pair him with specific players.
KD's probably listening right now.
You have to pair him with specific players.
Yeah.
If you give him like a solid point guard and another player that can just be the leader on the court, then I'd probably put KD over for his scoring attribute for a one series.
Somebody said,
but outside of that, I feel like that's very specific. So I'd have to give the edge of LeBron.
Somebody's saying Ant over Steph right now. I gotta disagree.
Yeah. The attention Steph draws still.
You say you agree, Austin?
Yeah, I'm taking Ant personally, but we're not going to argue it again. But yes, 100% I would be.
For one series. Interesting.
Dude, come on. Like, it's not like Ant had a, easy
Dude, that Warriors team is not good. That's all Steph. That Warriors team is not good.
I agree. That Warriors team's trash, so I'm not going to argue that.
What if that Warriors team gets Nas Reed next year?
A Band-Aid. Band-Aid, not a solution.
What would be the solution?
I think I don't think one player is a solution for that team. I think the roster construction of that team is very poor. They lack a lot of size, and where they do have size, you can't play it. Adding one player with size that isn't really a defensive problem, I don't think is going to do much. Like Draymond is being forced to play the 5 when he said multiple times throughout the season that he doesn't want to play the 5, but the team is so much better when he is the 5. Like that's just a perfect epitome of like what's wrong there. Then you have Curry with no other real ball handler, and you bring in Jimmy Butler to fix that, and then Jimmy Butler is just like non-existent when Steph Curry.
I hated the Jimmy Butler trade as soon as it happened.
I hated it. So I think there's multiple issues that I think nothing's going to get fixed until Curry's ready to retire. If they bring Kuminga back, I don't think I'll watch a Warriors game next season because I love Kuminga, doesn't fit the team for his sake and for the team's sake.
Especially with Jimmy Butler there.
Yeah, they're just shooting themselves in the foot if they bring him back. All right. Next take. Does anybody have anything they want to share?
Kind of covered what I wanted to cover.
Austin, you got one, or should I get my next one?
Yeah, I keep it moving.
OKC should not. Oh, hold on. Let me unshare my screen. OKC should not trade any of their picks for the next 10 years or however long they are. I don't think they should trade a single one of them. I don't think
that's a crazy thing.
I think they keep their core. They re-sign them for whatever the fuck deal they want, Shea, J-Dub, and Chet. And then use your picks to fill whatever hole people leave for. If Isaiah Joe leaves, cool. You have 3 chances to draft another one. Casey Wallace, great. Obviously, people are like, oh, no, you don't want to let Casey Wallace go. You can draft another Casey Wallace. I love Casey Wallace. Think about how many teams have a guy that's like a glue guy that's just a secondary playmaker that is a great defender and can hit their shots.
They have so many draft picks that can do whatever the fuck they want.
Exactly.
That's why I don't see it as like something crazy. Like it's definitely a possibility. They just keep all of them, just draft whatever they want.
Yeah, we've said that, Doc. They're gonna use it to retool. I wouldn't trade any of them. I would keep all of them and just let all the bench walk.
This season, they have the 15, 24, and 44th pick. Next season, they have 3 firsts. One of them is their own, another one from Philly, and another one from Utah. Who the fuck gave them a Utah first-round pick?
I don't remember that.
The year after that, the Clippers swap rights. Denver protected 1 through 5. Their own. Oh, no, that's their own second. All right, so that's 2027. 2028 swap rights with Dallas. 2029 or 2029 they have their own. They have Denver with some contingencies. 2030 they have their own. So it's like for the next 4 or 5 years, just take as many shots as you want. Go and get yourself. You can probably find another Chet.
Yeah.
They're going to hit on a second round draft pick or two as well.
They're very good at that.
Like Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Casey Wallace, as soon as their contracts are up, they're all gone. They're all getting a bag somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they need to everybody package your picks for Giannis, do it for Cooper Flag. If you're not going to do it now, you're never going to do it. You shouldn't do it ever.
Nikola should be getting some minutes next year, I think.
Yep, exactly. And like the guys like Jalen Williams with Hawaii and Kenrich Williams, like they're gonna re-sign for cheap. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Yeah.
They're just all those guys that are great role players. Great, like this is not a detriment to Casey Wallace saying that they don't need him. It's just they can draft another one. They're out there. All right, I guess that wasn't as much of a discussion topic as I thought it was going to be. That was all I had today. If anybody's got something in the chat that they want us to talk about, feel free as well.
I probably got like 15 minutes and I got to kick rocks.
You got 15 minutes. Let's talk about Anthony Edwards again then.
I was going to say.
Let's see if anything in going through the ringer inspires me, because there's a lot in that fucking like 30, 40 range to talk about too that we haven't even talked about. JJ, were we off stream, or were you off stream and I was doing it solo and I was just going through the ringer just like being pissed at where
I was there.
You were there? All right.
I think we went all the way up to like 70.
Yeah. Oh, Tyrese Maxey at 40 is quite low.
Yeah, that's insane to me.
That's crazy. He's a top 30 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm taking Maxey. Who's in the top 30? I'd take Maxey over.
Oh yeah, Tony was on the stage.
Oh yeah. This might be a conversation. I take Maxey over Fox. I think I would.
Yeah.
100% would. Yeah, 100% would. Especially off this last season we just saw.
He continues to elevate his game.
Maxey or Harden?
I gotta take Maxey.
Yeah, now Maxey for sure. Maxey's got that work ethic too, bro.
Especially when you're trying to win, I think Maxey can be a very pivotal piece in trying to win.
I think that's where it ends, because the next ones are Jalen Williams, Paolo Banchero, Jaren Jackson, Jaylen Brown. I think we can stop there with Maxey.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it. Austin, you're not gonna like where Denny is on this list, by the way.
It's low, but anyone that watched ball knows he's higher than
it's quite low.
And I feel like we had this conversation with you too. Like, you should be higher.
Austin wasn't on here when we did it. Austin, just take a guess at where they have him.
They probably have him like 88.
Okay, they're not that. They're 63.
Okay, so they're not complete disrespect. That's actually
you're not gonna like who's ahead of him though.
63. Who's ahead of him, or who's in his
DeMar DeRozan.
You won't find any ball knower that would take DeMar DeRozan over Denny Advia right now.
Oh, the list is not over. The list is not over. You're just gonna keep getting pissed. Mikal Bridges.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert.
Defensive Player of the Year. Same category. I'm not horribly mad about those two, but I do think I'd take Denny over Mikal, but especially offensively.
Norman Powell.
Had a great year. Hard to be mad at. Had a really good year.
Yeah, but great year for him was still like 20 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
I agree. The only thing about Advia, like he's doing it on Portland, his minutes, he only averaged like 28 minutes per game, so his stats are way lower. So that also inflates. But I could see that. What else we got around there?
Hold on. I'll let you make the case before I open my mouth. Somebody in the chat said Mikal is way better than Denny Advia. Look at their threes.
Denny during the regular season shot slightly higher percentage. So
I was gonna say, bro, people say that Denny can shoot the three. Denny also
in second half of the season, he definitely improved his 3-pointer.
Yeah. He only played like 28 minutes a game. Like his minutes were down because of the start of the year. He was averaging like 20 minutes a game, so it like inflated his numbers.
Portland's spacing is not great, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Like, Mikal Bridges getting spoon-fed passes in the corner wide open from Jalen Brunson.
Mikal's a good player, so I don't know if I want to sit here and argue Denny or Mikal. Like, I think
I'm comfortably putting Denny over Mikal after this last season.
I think Denny can do way more for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's where, you know what I mean?
Jalen sucks.
Like, come on, bro. I'm taking Audrey over Suggs, personally.
I am as well. But yeah, that's how they're viewing
the Norman Powell, go Bears. I don't hate those. Like
Trey Murphy.
Dude, see, he had a great year.
I'm probably taking Trey Murphy over.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a guy where it's like I probably wouldn't argue it because like he's a better scorer.
Post All-Star break numbers between their 3-point shooting. Mikal Bridges, 4.2 attempts, 35%. Denny, post All-Star break, 5.8 attempts, 41%.
And Denny didn't have a point guard facilitating to him. All his shit's earned. Like, it's Shaden Sharp passing it to him or Tamani, you know, like it's tough threes.
I think that's where the list ends for Denny, though, because then you get into Aaron Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Jared Allen. Lauri Markkanen is where I think Lauri Markkanen's a little high on this list.
See, I think Jalen Johnson, I'll give it to him, but I think he had that one extra year where people were like, oh, shit, this guy's good. I think Denny is going to have a huge year next year, and people are going to be like, yeah, see, we knew
I think they're similar.
Yeah, I just think that's like not maybe the same player, but like that's kind of like trajectory career-wise, I guess.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Lauri's 51's a bit high for me.
Lauri's good. He needs to get out of Utah, man.
But where are you putting him where you'd say, oh, if he was on this team, he'd be in the 40s, for example?
Well, I'd love Lauri on Portland. I would love him as our 4. You know, like.
But if he's your 4 with Scoot and Sharp and Denny, is he doing enough to be talking about putting him higher here? Is he going and getting you 4 threes a game, or is he getting you 2, 3 on a good day?
You don't think
he's stretching the floor for the guys?
21, 22, and 8, 22 and 9. Like, I don't know. I understand it. Like, I understand it.
Ooh, I gotta take. Actually, I forgot I had this one. If I'm starting a team right now, and this isn't for one series, this is for the future of my franchise. I like Amin Thompson over Paolo Banchero.
I'll talk to you later.
Bro, Amin Thompson, he's special, bro.
He's damn good. He's damn good.
Like, he has legitimate.
If he gets his shot together,
if he gets his shot together, like a consistent shot 3-4 years from now. Yeah, I'm talking like 3-4 years from now. Like, he's gonna have to develop. But if he gets there, I think he has legitimate tools for a top 5 player in the NBA.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the age, but are they within a year?
Amin's a baby.
No, I think Paolo and him are within a year and a half, 2 years, age-wise. They're both pretty young.
Amin's 22. Okay, so you might be right.
I think Paolo's 23.
So Paolo's also 22. So I'll give you that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, development-wise, I was wrong. So, like, development-wise, Banchero, it's hard to be like, oh, in 3 years. It's like, well, yeah, Banchero's already way better right now. Like, he might be way further in 2 years.
For Banchero, outside of adding a 3-point shot, which I don't know even if he gets it with his build, I don't know if I want him settling for threes. I don't know what more there is to do for him.
But what team, as just basketball, what team would be easier to go play for? The Houston Rockets with their spacing, with Sengun, with Fred VanVleet, or going and playing on Orlando with clog ball?
Houston doesn't have spacing. Their whole half-court offense is from offensive rebounding.
Yeah, I guess that's true because Almond's grabbing rebounds. But I feel like theoretically, Almond is the guy that's supposed to space on that team. Paolo's not the guy that's supposed to space on that team.
I agree.
Orlando doesn't have spacers at all. Like, they have spacers, but they're not spacers. They're KCP, Gary Harris. Like, those aren't.
Here's the way I see the potential for Amin Thompson. If you took Josh Hart, added multiple inches, and gave him actual shooting and ball handling abilities, or potential shooting and actual ball handling abilities, and fucking elite defense.
Amin's going to be way better than Josh Hart.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, Josh Hart, okay, I should have rephrased it better, but here's what I was trying to say. Josh Hart has all the intangibles of an NBA player where you're like, I don't care about his shooting splits. I don't care about this, that, the other thing. We want him on the court. Amen Thompson has all of that with multiple inches, with better defense, with better ball handling. So the upside of what he can do on the court, it doesn't matter what the matchup is. If he puts his tools together, he can literally do anything when he's on the floor.
He's a good player. Damn good player. I can't knock him. I think
it's a risk. It's like that take it. If I'm a GM and I'm making that decision, I'm well aware that is either making or breaking my job as a GM. But it's a risk I would be willing to take.
You know what trade? This is my last thing, and then I'm gone. What trade, when you look at it full circle, that was a win-win for both? Giddey to the Chicago, and then Caruso to OKC. I remember you and I argued it. I felt like Giddey showed a lot of flash for that team and like improved. And then Caruso obviously worked out as the bench piece and is probably going to get a ring. I feel like that trade was a win-win. Like if Caruso stayed on the Bulls, they would be the same exact position they were this year. So it's like they were going to lose him. And now you have a youthful Josh Giddey. I liked that move.
I agree it looks better for the Bulls than everybody initially thought. I disagree that I'd call it a win yet because I still don't think Giddey is the player you want. Like,
dude. Bro,
can you honestly tell me the Bulls are going to, with confidence, that you think the Bulls are going to be a threat in 5 years? Assuming Giddey is getting the usage he's getting.
No, but I can tell you with confidence, if they kept Caruso for 5 years, they would get way less than what they were getting for Giddey for the next 5 years. I agree. That's my thing. You were going to get nothing for Caruso, and you were going to suck. You were going to be horrible. You just got yourself a 23-year-old who can do everything, who's getting better. I know he can't defend, but like, I just think that trade, like those are the type of trades in the NBA I love to see personally.
But it could go both ways because if you want to put faith in Giddey that you shouldn't, now you're making yourself stuck for the next 10 years again because you're paying him and you're trying to build an offense around him for an offense that's never going to be a threat.
Do you think he gets a max contract?
Not max, but it'll be a lot. More than he should get for a guy that has his tools.
Yeah, I guess once he's paid, we'll know. We'll be able to tell. If he gets,
I think there was a report already about what he was supposed to be paid. Let me look it up.
I think those type of trades are sick when you look at them and it like works out for both teams. I've always liked that.
Let's see. New report on his contract extension with the Bulls. Let's see how many million it's supposed to be. Likely to receive 5-year, $150 million. That's $30 million a year.
Bro, for what I got,
$30 million isn't crazy.
Bro, turn the film on the last month. He actually looked pretty like serviceable. Like he looked solid.
He looks like an NBA player, like a starting NBA player.
He looked like you didn't need to sub him off.
But does he look like a guy that will have a legitimate role on a contending team?
But it's worth the risk if you're a dog shit team for a guy like Caruso. It's 100% worth the risk because Caruso's not getting you like pat. You know what I mean? Like what would Alex Caruso do on the Bulls this year?
They probably would have tried to trade him for something else.
Yeah, like the package they got I thought was sick.
I just think the Bulls are a team that's consistently mediocre, below mediocre, and I don't think that this changes that. I would have rather them. I would have rather Caruso been gone for free and then finally decide to tear it down from the bottom than be stuck thinking Giddey is your franchise player for the next 10 years. And I think that's the risk they're running now after Giddey had as good of a season as he did.
I think that's fair, but it's tough to get a 38 to 40 PRA player for a guy that can come off.
Like I'm not ready to say they've lost yet, but I'm not ready to say
fair.
Oh no, that they did the right thing. Because I still think that the book is still open.
All right, that's it. I got it.
Take care, Doug.
Did I scare you, Austin?
Yeah, basically. I've been here for 2 hours, bro. Where you been?
I was at school.
Oh, fair.
Peace, Austin.
Peace. See you, Doug.
JJ, I wanted to ask you what you liked for WNBA today.
I haven't posted anything official yet, but just everything I had in my write-up, my little article.
I was about to check it out, and I was like, I wonder if they're still live. And then I just joined instead.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm about to narrow down my list and then start posting stuff, but kind of got to go through it again. See if I check any other news.
I took Citron rebounds, 3.5. I thought that was a nice spot.
Yeah.
She's got 30 minutes in 5 straight games now. So I think first the Fever should hold.
Yeah, they're beginning up a lot of rebounds to guards.
8 or 7 last time they played.
Tony, we did the final stream yesterday.
Sorry.
We made a lot of future bets. Here, let me put those back on the screen. Where is it? I'm more excited to sweat these series bets than I am the game props.
Yeah.
All right. We had Shea 25 plus every game at -115. Neesmith to lead the series in threes at +425. Chet to lead the series in rebounds at -130. Miles Turner 1-3 in every game +120. Caruso 1-3 in every game +220. And Pacers +2.5 games at +120. That Neesmith looks so tough. I mean, the only one ahead of him in odds was Halliburton, and Halliburton's going to be chased off the line by Dort.
Yeah, he is. Shea every game 25. Nice. Oh, some of these are nice, dude.
Thank
Caruso.
You.
All it takes is one Caruso 0 for 5. Fucking.
Yeah, but it's happened, twice the entire playoffs, and both of them were 10 minutes blowouts?
Yeah. I hope we don't really get many blowouts in the finals.
I don't think we will. All right, Chuck, you got any more hot takes? This is the hot take stream. You got any more hot takes for us to argue about before we sign off? We're out.
Well, the Pacers are going to win, dude. They're going to win.
I think they have a better. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they have a better chance than people realize.
Again,
yeah. It's going to be a good series.
I think so too, man. I've been trying to tell people ever since we played them last year in the playoffs, the Celtics. They're nice, and they match up well with OKC because they can run and they can shoot threes, and so they can kind of keep up the pace. It'll be good to see number 1 offense versus number 1 defense. I'm curious to see how Siakam will do. Is Chet going to be guarding Siakam? Probably, right?
We got in a big argument about that in the last stream.
Because you did, Because he could easily, it makes a lot of sense to put him on Turner. Because if they do iHeart, he's just going to get. I could see iHeart also getting played out of this series again.
Yeah, that's what we did agree on that. Our argument
he's just too slow.
Is he going to guard Neesmith so he can be the low man, help coming off the.
What did they do when they played in the regular season?
Chet didn't play.
Well, the problem is Chet didn't play in any of those games, so it's hard to tell.
I guess there's only 2 games, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying. So you can't really know. What did Hardenstein do? Did he have good games?
He got played off the court the second game. I can't remember the first game.
He got played.
He played 34 minutes the first game.
Yeah, Kenrich Williams ended up playing 30 minutes.
Kenrich Williams, bro, that's crazy, and that's without Chet. Because his unders. I took a couple live unders, and I don't know if you remember, we talked about the game, the game 5, they won a 5, right?
Yeah.
Hartenstein under in that game. We talked about that. I think it was 15.5, and that was kind of a sweat, but it was basically what we said. It was how does he go over? Oh, if he just goes 5 for 5 on his floaters, and he was 4 for 5 with 8 points, 5 boards, no assists, and he went under anyways. Do you know what his PRA is tomorrow or for Thursday?
I think it was 15.5, if I remember correctly.
I might have to ride that again, which is a shame because he was such an easy bet a lot of times during the regular season over PR or PRA or whatever.
It's a matchup based thing. Honestly, he's at 17.5. I was wrong.
Oh shit, that might be a play. I just don't see how he stays. And then I was gonna say Nembhard series, dude. Nembhard or Neesmith.
Yep, we agree with both of those. I think I'm debating on points, assists, or PA for game 1, but I do want to play something Nembhard.
Yeah.
So my only concern with Nembhard is he's going to be defending Shea, and I am concerned that he gets in foul trouble.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he did a really good job on Brunson. He didn't get in foul trouble too much.
Yeah, but
I think he did one game maybe. He was defending more, but as the series went on, I think it was Nembhard started to pick him up more, and he was doing well. He held him like 30% or something.
Yeah, it was after Neesmith picked up the ankle injury. They started using Nembhard.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, that makes more sense.
I think they're going to put Neesmith on J-Dub and Nembhard on Shea based on what we saw from the previous games.
I think it's going to be, I mean, I'm sure you've gone over it, but I think it'll be SGA is going to be scoring every game.
Yep.
At will. And I think
I'm going to play his first quarter points.
They're going to be like, okay, he's going to score 40 and we're fine with that, but he's not getting 10 assists. Because we're not letting Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins and Jalen Williams to be hitting threes. That's kind of what I would say. I mean, the Pacers play right into OKC strengths.
ESPN has his first quarter points at 8.5 minus 120.
Take it, dude. Easy money. Yeah. Is he gonna play the whole quarter?
Wild. What?
Is he gonna play the whole quarter?
Yeah.
Well, then it's money.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing.
Do you know? I wonder. I'm gonna have to look into how he is after a lot of rest.
Fuck, I don't remember. Oh, there we go. Forgot my PropStat cash login. Never mind. Apparently something went wrong when attempting to log in.
What are you trying to see?
I want to see I just want to see his game log at home for 8.5 because I know at 9.5 what the numbers look like.
Chuck, you said you locked in Sonya rebounds, right?
Yeah, I did. Why?
Alex was asking.
Oh, I see. I was looking at points and rebounds as well.
Citron, yeah.
I like her PR too. I just felt like it was. I felt like rebound should have been 4.5, and that's why I ultimately went because we've seen her take like 12 shots and only score 10 points. I mean, I think she's due for a kind of better shooting performance because she's had 2 bad ones in a row.
Yeah, she's had good looks in the last game for sure.
The thing that made me go rebounds was 1, the matchup. And then 2, it's like, so first 2 games she played 23 minutes. And then since then she's played 30 in 5 straight. And she's had 4 more and 4 to 5, like 8 boards, 5 boards, 1 board, 7 board, 4 boards. And it seems like she's the only one who's got like her minutes secure behind Sykes, because they're so deep and they've got a lot of front court players, but just because she plays at the 3, they don't have anybody else that can steal their minutes. Like Edwards not taking her minutes, Austin's not taking her minutes, Dolson's not taking her minutes, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I've been getting screwed, like I saw you took Stevens last game. I took her last game too, and she had foul trouble. But then she didn't even she barely played in the 4th. She got her 4th in the 3rd, and then she went back in end of 3rd, like a minute left, and then she was in the game for like a minute in the 4th quarter or something, and I don't think she came back until like 2 minutes left or something. And it was foul trouble was not an issue at that point. So I just I hate taking losses when they just play way less minutes. I mean, obviously foul trouble played a big part, but I think if Sonya stays out of there, it should be good. And then I took Boston rebounds, 8.5, and then Alana Smith points. But I also like Alana Smith points rebounds as well.
Somebody's upset by our Hartenstein take. Somebody on TikTok said, Hartenstein's going to get his minutes. Rim runs, lobs, and floaters. Gosh, do you guys even watch the games? No, we don't.
Apparently he doesn't.
No. What are you talking about rim run? When are you come on, versus the Pacers? No, he's gonna be getting lost on pick and rolls with Miles Turner. Miles Turner's gonna be hitting threes, and Mark Daniels gonna go, shit, man, this fat ass can't keep up. I'm gonna take him out of the game. And Cruz has shown him that he can guard anybody because the refs don't call fouls on him. So just throw him out there. It doesn't matter. Case Wallace is the same.
By the way, for Shea, with everybody healthy in the first quarter, coming into the playoffs, he was over this line in, 9 of 10 games with everyone healthy at home. In the playoffs, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 of 9. But again, Memphis and Denver were loading up on him. and the one miss against OKC. I think that was one I bet on. That was I can't remember what happened, but I was pissed for some reason.
SGA versus OKC.
That was when he got to 8 points with 4.5 minutes left, and then didn't take another shot the rest of the quarter. I was pissed.
Who's that verse? You said it was versus OKC, but who's
no? That was versus Minnesota. Sorry.
Oh
in
yeah,
the 8-point game against Minnesota, he shot 3 for 3, 2 for 2 from the line, and then didn't take another shot the rest of the quarter.
And I remember seeing that, thinking like, "Oh damn, I should have tailed."
Yeah, so I don't think the Pacers are going to blitz him, so I think we'll be good.
What did he do in the games they played?
Not great. I don't know why though.
Okay.
First quarter.
I'm excited for this finals, to be honest.
Me too.
I don't think I'm going to bet on them too much because I just want to enjoy trying to find like 1 or 2 spots. I didn't even realize, Will, I'm actually on a 7-1 run in the NBA.
There we go. Let's keep that going.
Right? Siakam, OG, I Heart Under, Jalen Brunson points. Oh, Conley.
All right, good promo. For anybody who wants Chuck's NBA plays, go get in the court.
No, dude, no. I didn't realize I forgot I posted Hartenstein. SJ3 is such a fucking wagon, dude. I love that.
In the 2 games versus Indiana first quarter, he had 9 one game. The other game he had 6, but he shot 2 for 8. So I don't think that happened.
Dude, what do you think of his threes?
Pacers love to chase people off the line.
Do they?
But having it be Nembhard instead of Nesmith as his defender works in your favor.
But why did he have so many attempts? And he was knocking them down too. 4 for 5 and 3 for 6 in 2 games.
Brunson's good at making tough shots.
I'm pretty sure Nesmith.
That's SGA versus the Pacers.
Nesmith didn't play in the first one.
Oh, he didn't.
And in the second game, it looks like everybody was healthy.
Yeah, Nesmith didn't play in the first one. You're right. And second one had Nembhard and. Because if he takes 6 threes, like he's hitting. You know?
Yeah. He should.
He's such a weird 3-point shooter.
I know.
I feel like he's quite efficient, but he never really takes like.
He's never looking for it, but every now and then he'd be like, "Fuck it, why not?"
Yeah, literally. I think he saw it more as the season went on. Dude, with 6 threes, his hit rate is ridiculous.
Oh, I know, especially if you filter for home.
Oh, let me say home. Oh my God, it's just straight green.
What else? So we talked about Nembhard. I'm gonna play. I really hope Lou Dort's line didn't move. I was gonna play Lou Dort under points. 9.5 is still there. I'll probably be playing that.
9.5, nice. But he's over in 7 in a row, dude. Do you even like watch basketball or?
Let's look at Lou Dort versus the Pacers.
13 and 22 this year is kind of insane, though.
No chat in either one.
3 for 8, 6 for 7 from 3. Oh, so annoying when so many key players were out when they played in the regular season.
But then look at the playoff log. 12 shooting 4 for 10, then 4, 6, 9, 5, 6. A 10-point game.
Dude, just the fact that we've seen his minutes not be secure is insane.
Exactly.
Like, because I never thought that would actually happen. Just because of how good he is on defense.
Let me check.
And we saw it happen like a lot already these playoffs. The last 10 games, he's already had 1, 2, 3, 4 games under 22 minutes.
J-Dub under 1.5 threes?
Well, I think it'll definitely, like I said earlier, be something that they try and limit. He was 2 for 6 and 0 for 2. That was without Chet. Oh my God, and he's so much worse at home.
Who else do we like, JJ? Siakam RA. See if that line moved. At least I liked it. I never felt like you stamped that one.
No, I liked it.
That's all I can remember, though.
I'm never betting Siakam 3.
We like Nembhard scoring.
Yep, we like Nembhard points, assists, and PA. We just haven't decided which one we want to take. Or at least, I know you like points. I initially started liking, or I like points. You initially liked assists. I couldn't decide if I wanted to pivot or not. But
we looked at the shots, and the PA makes a lot of sense. It's gonna get volume.
Why do you have 18 potential?
He's him.
And 13? How do you not go a PA here? 15.5. And his volume's been good. His volume kind of only dips when he sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he has 3 for 8, 2 for 9, 1 for 9, but then 6 for 12, 6 for 10, 7 for 11. He struggled a bit in that Knicks series to find his shot.
Yeah, but that's because they were defending with OG Anunoby.
Yeah, he's good. Those pull-ups don't come into you. Who's going to be guarding them hard? SGA? Or do you think they put SGA on Neesmith in the corner?
That's where our argument came up, because I think they're going to do what they did with Jaden McDaniels and put Chet on Neesmith. That way he can just defend the corner and really just be the low man on the block. But I can't remember where JJ said, but I know Prop Plug was saying he thinks they put Shea on Neesmith and Chet on either Turner.
Because he had 7 in both games, but again, no Chet, so it's kind of useless.
Alex said they got an SGA promo.
We can chalk that one up real quick.
For what? For rebounds?
Shea
25 points per game.
Oh, damn. That sucks.
No, I'll probably put a little bit on it.
They had a boost on Betway yesterday, Lindor to hit a home run. That was stupid. First pitch he faced.
That was good for my fantasy team.
Nice. I wish I had baseball fantasy. I tailed your Drake Baldwin play, which is good because I was looking at Riley. I was looking at Acuna. Acuna is 2.5, and I hate taking 2.5 hit run RBI lines. Right.
I have fucking 3 plays I never posted. I just realized that.
And then Drake at the 2 I like that a lot because there's a good chance Acuna gets on base, and he can steal.
Well, here's the reason I really liked it is since he got moved into the 2 spot between Acuna and Zuna, he's gotten on base 9 times and he only has 2 runs RBIs. So
what? So he's due.
100% going to regress.
Yeah, nice. And then I took Vlad. What do you think of Vlad?
I like him today.
He mashed his lefties and Sanchez on the road.
I'm afraid of Sanchez, so I didn't play it personally, but both him and Alejandro Kirk, they both have a good history versus Sanchez, and I had them projected well. I was just like, the runs RBIs aspect always scares me against those good pitchers.
But he's not a good pitcher on the road, man.
He's not bad. He's worse.
I'm going to get on out of here because I need some food.
All right. I think I need food too. I got to take Printer to the park too.
We can close this.
Yep. We'll find some reason to stream yesterday. I haven't figured out what that reason's going to be yet, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
All right. Peace.
Peace, guys.